Dan Plessis. Dawie, I like it to be in a home semi-final. Maybe not something that we expected, but massive occasion to look forward to.
Yeah, it was almost obviously the goal from the start of the season. So that sort of let it slip against Munster. Yeah, we felt they probably would have been in trouble if Ulster got the result. But I mean, I must say, Connacht had a great performance, and then winning that game, and then obviously all of a sudden the pressure is on us to make sure to beat the Bulls, to make sure we get home semi. But it's great to be at home. I mean, the crowd and the support was phenomenal this weekend. So hopefully we can get the same.
It's almost like we played them in the first game of the season at Donny Craven, and now we're in a home semi-final at Cape Town. I mean, it's almost like quite an interesting story, and their season's also, they've done really well in the second half of the season, so it sets up for a good game.
Definitely. I mean, I think it's two different sides from which played at the start of the season. Every team evolves throughout the season. I know they had a tough start. I think they had about 6 or 7 away games at the start of the season, which put them under pressure. But I must say, for them to turn it around and actually have a strong back end of the season was great. They're a quality side, and they'll be a good challenge.
Yeah, sure. Dan, maybe from a player's point of view, Saturday crowd, the kind of atmosphere that was there, I mean, how is it?
Yeah, of course, as I think we've read a lot in the media and stuff about the crowd and the amount of spectators that came out to the game on Saturday. So that was obviously special for the guys. The crowd have a big effect on the team's performance as well, and just them getting behind us was obviously awesome. And hopefully we can do something close to that again this weekend.
How special is it for you at the moment? I mean, you obviously played well this season, but end of last season playoffs, you weren't there. But now to be kind of involved in the mix again, must be quite nice.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of that just now. How crazy it is, how quickly the season has come to playoffs again, and obviously out of the Champions Cup. So this is the last competition for us, and then obviously Currie Cup still after that. But obviously it was tough last season to miss out on the playoffs and watch from the sidelines. But looking forward to and enjoying being in the playoffs this season, and hopefully we can do the same and repeat what we did last season.
And so just lastly for me, your season and your personal form, are you happy with the way you kind of built, and obviously your combination with Ruan at the moment working nicely?
Yeah, I think it's been nice for me to get consistent game time, and I think that has a big effect on one's performance. If you're not getting rotated that much and not getting injured or whatever it may be, to be continuously on the field helps a lot with getting in a rhythm and putting up decent performances.
Sorry, Dave, and then from me, just on Dan, I mean, and the role he plays, you're the attack coach, and he's often at 12, he's the guy who's got to kind of take it to the opposition. How important is the role that he's played in the team this season?
No, I mean, Dan's been great for us. It's obviously on the field, but also off the field. He's a great leader. Has great competitiveness around him. So in training, it's always pushing the standards. And like I say, he's been having a great season. And I'm really chuffed that he's on the field and he's playing, because we always knew the potential of Dan and what he can do, and just needed that sort of run of games to really prove what he can do.
Cool. All right, guys. If you've got questions for these two, please put your hands up. We can get into it. Stephen, fire away.
Thanks very much, Mike. Hello, guys.
Hello, Stephen.
Dawie, interesting dynamic here, earlier when the Stormers, finished third, everybody said, thought, darn, there's no chance of a home semi, and then I think there was a general, maybe a collective underestimation maybe of Connacht. Dobbo actually called it well last week, and he thought that their game against Ulster would be very close. But I mean, is there this just this tendency out there maybe for people to underestimate them a bit? And just your thoughts on how good a team they really are, and how good they've become since you played them at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, look, they're a tough team. We've also realised when we played them last year at the sports ground, it's it's a quality side. They're really well coached. They've got some experienced players. It's also in the Irish setup. So it's definitely a team we never take lightly. Even that first game, it was almost quite tough till Bandiaki got that red card. And they actually called it fine. They came back for that call where game was in the balance. So it's one team we'll definitely not take lightly. And almost like you said, they can beat any team on the day, which they proved against Ulster, which is a tough team to beat away. So we need to be at our best.
I suppose that the thing about, the thing that was really striking about their game against Ulster was their breakdown threat. Is that where you saw the biggest threat as well? And, obviously you guys are a team that you thrive on quick ball as well. So, just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, no, spot on there, Stephen. I think that's the area where they put Ulster under pressure. And also didn't get any flow in the game. It's because of that breakdown pressure, so they go hard at the breakdown. They'll definitely try and slow us down. We'll know that. We need to be really sharp in that area.
Cheers, Michael. We'll take a break.
Cool. All right, guys. If there's anyone else with a question, you just need to put your hand up. Kate, then Percy, then Gavin. What a lineup.
How's it, guys? So Dobo talked about losing to the Bulls would have been a blow for your guys' season. So have you looked ahead now to what this match with Connacht means in terms of your overall goals for the season? I'd like an answer from both of you, please.
Yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, no, I mean, quarterfinals is always a tricky game. It's quite a long way from the final, and we knew that the Bulls, it's a quality side, and they would have been up for that game. Obviously, to get past the quarterfinal, SA Dawies can always can go both ways. We're really happy with the performance, and then actually taking the next step to reaching the final and see what we can do from there. We actually didn't really look past this weekend against the Bulls. So it's a new week now, and definitely need to get past Connacht first.
Thanks. Answer, please.
Yeah.
So I missed a little bit at the end of the question, but I got the beginning, so I'll just go on that. I think
I can repeat it for you. So I was wondering because Coach Dobo was talking about how losing to the Bulls would have been a blow for your guys' season. So where then do you place this match against Connacht at home? Where does it fare in terms of like where your season is and what are the goals are for the season?
Yeah, no, I think the Bulls game, of course, was an important game for us. I think there was obviously a lot of talk about how many games we've won in a row against the Bulls, but we always knew that it's a quarterfinal. It can go any way, no matter what the past results have been. And we knew they were going to bring it to Cape Town, and they did. But I think we stuck to our plan very well in the day, and we came up on the right side of that game. And then in terms of Connacht, there's obviously, like I said earlier, falling out of the champions, the Heineken Champions Cup. Obviously, there's two games less for us in the Stormers jersey for this season. If we go on to the final, so it's something that we don't want the season to end now, and the guys will be looking forward to putting up a big performance this weekend again.
Nice one, thanks, Kate. Percy was next. Yes, Percy.
Thank you so much, Michael.
Are you there, Percy? We can't hear you.
Sorry, colleagues. Michael, I was hoping to ask my Afrikaans questions at the end, but I'm assuming you'll allow me to go ahead with my Afrikaans questions now.
Sure.
Dawie, are you happy to talk in Afrikaans?
You can ask in Afrikaans, but I reply in English.
Yeah. What Dawie maybe? Percy.
Axel in Afrikaans.
I'm so confident in Afrikaans.
Can I go ahead, Michael?
Yes, go for it.
Thank you so much. Coach, kan ek met jou begin, coach? Kan ek wat van jou vraag gou vinnig? Dit is 'n besondere voorreg om natuurlik 'n halfeindstryd weer aan te bied op voor jou tuiskare, maar soos my kollega Steven Nel gevra het, Connacht het die naweek gewys dat jy kan nie te gerus wees nou hoewel jy ook vir jou tuiskare speel, die van hulle het gewys in Ulster dat hulle kan 'n span redelik upset as ek die Engelse woord kan gebruik. Hoe benader jy hier naweek se wedstryd? En dan so Danny, gaan sommer my Afrikaans vraag van jou maar gooi vinnig. Ek moes gaan kyk nou julle vorige wedstryd teen Connacht, 'n redelike oortuigende oorwinning wat julle behaal het in daai eerste ronde wedstryd 38-15 teen Connacht. Hoe sien julle dinge gaan uitplay in hierdie keer nou vir julle in hierdie uitklopstryd die naweek teen Connacht? Thank you.
Ja, ek sê eerste antwoord, semifinale is altyd 'n groot wedstryd. Ek dink ons het voorreg om vir ons tuiskare te speel. Die feit dat ons ook nie op vliegtuig het geklim nie, dit gee ons 'n geleentheid om die hele week voor te berei. Hoe sal ons so 'n week benader? Ek dink ons sal seker kyk na onsself eers, ons wedstryd teen die Bulle, wat se areas wat ons dalk kan beter doen en wat ons goed gedoen het en wat ons graag weer wil seker maak in plek is. Dan sal ons ook kyk na Connacht, wat soos jy sê, dis 'n moeilike span. Jy weet, hulle het regtig goed gedoen om weg te wen van Ulster, en Ulster verloor nie regtig wedstryde by hulle tuisveld nie, so ons seker maak ons berei baie goed voor vir hulle.
Ja, ek sal probeer in Afrikaans, so Afrikaans is nie great nie. Ek dink soos Dawie vroeër gesê het, daai game op Stellenbosch was eintlik nie, it wasn't as convincing as the scoreline would have said. So ons weet dit gaan 'n tawe game die naweek wees. Die game teen Ulster is obviously ons kan baie uit daai game uitvat. Van Connacht teen Ulster. Ek het eintlik in die week vir baie mense sê soos of ek het my backing agter Connacht gesit, want ek het gedink hulle kan vir hulle is 'n span wat kan vir Ulster wen, en ja, so hulle is baie fisiese span, en obviously as 'n groot breakdown threat ook, which is something that we've pointed out in the week.
Coach, kan jy vra voor ek laat gaan? Het julle enige injury concerns dat julle ook bekommerd is in die aanloop hierdie week?
Nee, op die stadium lyk ons alright. So nee, ons is almal gesond en lyk goed.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Percy. Yes, Kevin, go for it.
Well, Percy sort of asked the question and Dawie kind of answered it, but I will be more direct with the question, seeing everybody's talking about breakdowns. Dobber did say to me on Saturday night that he thought that Dion might be a concern because he tweaked his hamstring or something. Is that when what you've just said now, does that mean that Dion looks like he's going to be okay for Saturday?
Yeah, look, we're going to give him the full week to make sure he's 100%. He felt his hamstring in that first half, but he's gone for scans. At this stage, it looks quite positive. It's just all about how can he recover from that. With a day or two to go still, so but hopefully he'll be all right.
Okay, and then the other question, the game on Saturday, but for some really good scrambling defense from the Bulls, I mean, you could have probably scored another 3 or 4 tries, and some of your attacking play was very confident. And I know they gave Marnie, they appeared to give Marnie a lot of space on defense, but you must have been very pleased with that aspect of your game. I know that you maybe should have scored more tries than you did. Certainly, I thought the Bulls scrambled well, but you must be very pleased with the way it sort of came together in a quarterfinal, which is often a game where there's a lot of tension and that sort of thing doesn't happen.
Yeah, no, I think spot on, Gavin. I think the pleasing factor is to see the guys play with sort of that still, like I said, almost that freedom and that sort of hunger to try and get in behind teams and to try and play good rugby. It's in our DNA. That's the way we want to play, and it didn't look like we're tightening up because it's a pressure game. So I think credit to the players to really go out and put themselves in good scenarios and good positions. Obviously we missed 1 or 2 opportunities maybe, but we don't want to get greedy. The vital ones we had to take, we took. So really happy with that performance then.
Cool, and Dan's been good all season, but somebody who possibly hasn't been, who I thought was really good, certainly on attack at the weekend, was Angelo. I mean, he seemed to really sort of come through, and he seems to have suddenly got a bit of a strut about him. And Leonin obviously as well, because I mean he hasn't played. For a guy who hasn't played for a while, he was also okay in that game.
Yeah, no, I think Angelo is a player that almost goes under the radar. He's a great player. Yeah, he really works hard on the field. So a lot of the work he does goes unseen. But really happy for him, and also started coming through through the injury and actually putting up quite a solid performance after a long layout. That was great to see.
Thanks.
Cool. Thanks, Gavin. Leeton, go for it.
Hello, Mikey. Thank you. Hi, Dawie. Hi, Dan. Dan, just for you, you played out of your skin on Saturday. You took a couple of heavy knocks and every time you just got back up, especially that one with Johan Goosen. How's the body feeling? And do you think that do you feel that this past Saturday that you pumped everything into that game?
Yeah, the body is, as usual, the body's quite sore on a Monday. But as the week goes further on, it tends to recover a bit slower the older you get. But I don't think I'm at that stage where Dion Ferry and those guys are yet, so I can't complain. Sorry, what is the other?
Just do you feel that you pumped everything into that game?
Yeah, no, I think as you spoke about that collision or two, I think I was probably lucky to be on the better side of those collision, fortunately. And yeah, I think it was more rugby collisions than anything else. But yeah, obviously I think the whole team put everything into that game as usual. And we're obviously proud of the performance and looking forward to this weekend's game again.
And then there were a couple of times where you guys had the perfect opportunity. I mean that Ruan break where I think it was you and Herschel who ran next to him, and the ball almost died there. Do you feel that you can still refine those moments on the attack when you are through ahead of this Connacht game?
Yeah, I think those sort of things it's easy to judge from the side, but on the field it's decisions you make in a split second. In the case of Ruan and we have actually spoken about this morning that Darby's gone through those clips and stuff and suggested better ways that we could have benefited from those breaks. But I think the positive thing is that we eventually went and ended up scoring the breakdown or two after that. So I think if we can start getting concerned if we're making those breaks and not getting over the try line eventually, but I think we did our best to, when we get those breaks to pounce on those opportunities a ruck or two after that and get over the line.
And just you've spoken about this a couple of times this year, but your combination with Ruan has been really, really good for the last couple of seasons. But you've also fitted in a Damian Willemse next to you or a Sasha next to you. Does the team setup allow for that easy transition when you have to move to 13 to accommodate someone on your inside when Ruan's not there?
Yeah, I think the way we play our structure and everything allows. We've got a lot of freedom, so the way guys, it's difficult to explain, but it's almost we all go hand in hand. It doesn't matter which position the guys are in. The structure allows the guys to almost fill in any position at any time, and those guys that you mentioned, obviously Damien and Sasha, maybe Flowers and fullbacks, more preferred position, but they've shown what they can do at centre as well. And yeah, I think they're such talented players that they can almost play anywhere in the back line. I think Damien moved to, if I'm right, moved to England into the game. So I think they've shown their ability to be versatile week in and week out, and I think they both, as well as Ruan, are very good communicators, and I think that's something that you need in the midfield.
And just on you and Ru,
yeah.
I mean it doesn't seem like you guys. You speak a lot, but he just knows what you are going to do, or when you can go into attack and he lays back maybe for a bit of cover defense, or you lay back. Is that sort of like what you built your combination on when you guys are playing together?
Yeah, I think like I said in the past, I get a lot of confidence from him, and hopefully he gets from me as well. Just his personality on the field. Besides anything that he does on the field, just his personality gives a lot of the other guys as well confidence in the back line, and the way that he especially defensively, the way he goes for reads and the way he communicates on defense. It helps me a lot. And
Cool. Thanks, mate. Next is Kanisa. Yes, Kanisa.
Thank you very much, Michael. Good afternoon, guys, and congratulations on the win on the weekend. I'm Dawie. I'm not sure if are you able to just let us know about Siabelo Senatla and his availability this weekend, and what was the extent of the accident that he was involved in that precluded him from playing last week?
Yeah, look, I don't have the full details in terms of the extent of exactly what happened. It's just at the moment, Siabelo won't be available. Not for this game.
Nice. And my second question for you, Dov, how are you guys managing the pitch at Cape Town Stadium? I was watching from a bit afar here in Johannesburg, but even on TV, I'd love to think that you've seen better cabbage patches in Cape Town.
So what?
Seen better cabbage patches.
Oh, okay. Yeah, look, it's where we're playing at the moment. I don't think maybe it's an advantage to us because we're used to the field. We understand it. We get the opportunities to train on the field. So it's something we don't really complain about. We get on with it and we adjust on exactly the conditions that we need to play in. We're enjoying playing in the stadium. I think the atmosphere is great. And the way we play, I don't think it has an influence on us. If you looked at the game we played on Saturday.
I think a question for you, Dan. You carry a very heavy family name. How are you dealing with the pressure of being a Du Plessis? I mean, this season you've been pretty much superb, but Du Plessis playing for either Stormers or Western Province, that is quite a big family name to carry. How have you dealt with the pressure of just playing with a family name?
I think I don't really like to put that weight on my shoulders or anything, or feel like it's pressure. So I wouldn't say pressure, more of an honor to represent the family name, if you want to put it that way. And obviously a rich history in the Du Plessis family, but obviously I've taken what I can from my dad and family, and try to put that on the field.
Cool, nice one, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kanisa. Next we've got William from Dawie. Yes, William.
Hi, gentlemen. How are you doing? Connacht went into that game against Ulster really on a free hit. They were very, very unlikely to win the game in theory. And all the pressure was on Ulster. Is all the pressure on the Stormers at the weekend now? Connacht again, travelling to South Africa, probably regarding, they'll think they can win, but everybody else around it says, no, Stormers at home, impossible to win. So how do you deal with that pressure?
I think, William, we obviously put pressure on our own performance. We don't really look at too much, obviously analyze the opposition and understand what they're gonna bring, but we look at more. How can you say, the process sounds a bit like a cliche, but we'll take it every step of the game, understand which areas we need to be good at to make sure that we get the result at the end of the day. So pressure will be more on our own performance, and I think these players, they want to be in the big games, they want to be in the big moments. So it's actually really exciting for us to be involved in that game.
And without giving too much away, what have you seen so far looking at Connacht? I'm sure you've analysed that game against Ulster and maybe some of the others. They have been on a run of they've won 7 out of 8 now in the URC.
No, I mean the quality side, and it's not just the last 7 games. We actually, Andy Friend is a good mate of mine. So we've actually been speaking about throughout the season. So it's great to see them performing. I think they're a quality side, and almost like you say, a bit underrated. Yeah, they're definitely a side that has great attack. You know, they can string phases together. Like you said earlier, one of the guys, breakdown threat is massive. You know, they really put their bodies on the line. You know, and they're a tough team. You know, they won't go away. And then guys like McAnson, you know, a bit of X factor. So yeah, I think it's a well-rounded team and a good quality team.
Are you the fellow that took him mountain biking when we were down there in?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
he actually took me out biking. I'm still sore. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he likes his bike, Andy. I was down there for the game in Stellenbosch. It was great. It was almost really fascinating to go to a ground like that. Talking about the ground and the pitch, it's getting a lot of attention up here, fellas. Is it going to be any better on Saturday, or is that you just have to patch it up and keep going now?
Yeah, I think it's on its last leg, right? So yeah, there's probably not much we can do about it. Unfortunately, a bit of rain later this week, so I'm not sure if that will help. But yeah, I mean, we've been last 3-4 games has been sort of similar. I don't think it will get worse. So it's probably the worst you've seen it was this Saturday, and similar this weekend.
Well, we've got an artificial one in Galway now for when you're up to us next season.
That was after we got there last year. So
yeah, the only slight problem, yeah, exactly. But the only slight problem is we haven't got the roof yet to deal with the wind and rain. But at least the pitch is pretty fast. Good luck. It's going to be a fascinating game. We're really looking forward to it up here. And listen, we'll talk again soon. And good luck to both of you. Hope it goes well.
Good. Thank you, William.
Thanks, William.
Thank you.
Next is Adnan. Yes, Adnan.
How's it, guys? Just got a quick question for Dan. Just looking at the challenge on Saturday, coming up against a guy like Bandi Aki and the center combination. How do you see that going?
Yeah, I think as Dawie mentioned earlier, I think that's why we play the game, and that's kind of like the matchups that we live for, to play against the big names. I mean, Bandi Aki is an experienced international and someone that I've actually looked up to for a long time. Enjoy the way he plays, big physical presence, and even himself speaking about breakdown threats is also a threat at the breakdown. So really looking forward to it, and yeah, I'm sure that's going to be a good clash on Saturday.
Great, thanks, Mike.
Nice one, Adnan. Back with Gavin. Yes, Gavin.
Yeah, how's it, guys? Again, Dawie, just for the first, I've got 3 questions. I think the first one, just a very sort of straight up and down one. It's just something I thought of now. I mean, obviously, it's actually quite nice that you're playing against the one team. I think the Zebra are probably the other that hasn't actually played at Cape Town Stadium yet. Because I mean, they played in Stellenbosch and you played them over there last year, so they've never seen the stadium, well, not live anyway.
Yeah, no, I think it is something maybe you have to get used to. One thing about Connacht, you know, the conditions they play in and training, I know they've got an artificial pitch now, but it is tough conditions, you know. So I think that's almost the one team that can adjust and actually play well on that surface. Their game suits it, so might take a few minutes, but I think they'll do right.
Okay, and then the other one is I asked Dawie this on Saturday night, but maybe it was a bit too soon after the game. Just because, and both of you can answer this question. It's just, you know, the Bulls are such a difficult opponent just because of the history between the two teams and its historical rivalry and all this other stuff that goes on in a build-up to a Bulls game. What you sort of seemed to do to me at the weekend was the way you dealt with the pressure. I mean, you were asked a question now about the pressure. You dealt with the pressure so well that you went out and you played your normal game, and you didn't seem to be fazed by the pressure at all. Do you feel that and also when you talk about knockout games, you've done quite well. Even the round of 16 game is really, in the Heineken Cup, is a sort of knockout game as well, and you played really well against Harlequins. Do you feel like you've gone through like a sort of quite a significant barrier, maybe further this last weekend, but maybe since winning last year's final, where you sort of like actually now have sort of arrived, your mental strength is such that you don't really worry that much about the pressure anymore than a Stormers team might have. I mean, we used to always talk about the Stormers teams choking in that. I mean, there's no narrative like that anymore.
Yeah, I think this is sort of what we not stumbled on, but and started understanding about ourselves is what makes our game work, you know. So we'll go into a weekend and really understand what each player needs to do, and that's the only thing you can probably focus on, and sort of each guy doing his job, then the rest will follow, and that's why we might look like we got nice flow and we're not stressed about the way we play or what we try and do in the field. And I think that will be the same if we're playing a final, semi-final, or just a normal league game. And I think that's made a big difference for us, and not worrying about the occasion or the result of a game.
Okay, and
Yeah,
then from your side, okay. Sorry, I was just going to say from your side, from a player's perspective as well. Sometimes I do speak to the coaches, and they actually, I think, a little bit more nervous away from you guys than they pretend they are when they see you. And I know Dawie told me at one stage, he said almost like he needed to keep at the beginning of the build-up to the Bulls game, which was like 2 weeks ago, and before the Currie Cup team won. He was saying that he needs to almost keep himself away from the players because he was quite stressed. I mean, do you guys sort of have that sort of feeling at the moment that, listen, we're not really fazed about it. We know if we play to our ability, we can beat anyone.
Yeah, I think similar to what Dawie said now, I think, we've also learned a lot of lessons this season. I think important lessons, especially more recently, probably against Exeter Chiefs as well. But I think like I was saying now, we know if we all just stick to our own jobs and not try to do somebody else's job for them, just stay in your lane, do your own job, everything will come together, and has been coming together every time that we've done that. So we've just got to trust that. We've got to trust what our coaches' plans are for us and our systems, and that everything will come together on the Saturday.
Thanks.
Cool, thanks, Gavin. You had 3 questions. Nathan, how many you got?
Only 2, Gavin.
Only 2, afternoon, gentlemen. Dawie, I think you're the perfect person to answer this. We see more and more tight forwards being more elusive. For example, Kitsi on Saturday, who was looking like a centre forward at one run. Do you guys put more emphasis on being more expansive, or does it depend on the team you guys are going up against, and how you guys want to approach the game?
No, I think definitely, like Dan says, we allow freedom on the pitch. So if Kitsi sees the opportunity to, or France even this weekend, I think he made more passes this weekend than the last 5 years. So but we make the players aware of those scenarios and situations. So I think it's where rugby's going. You need to be quite able to adjust. All your players need different skill sets, and that's always been important for us. So. Yeah, it was great to see the props having the ball and moving it into space at some stages, and that also then makes it easier for guys on the outside like Dan, if those guys starting to find space and getting behind defenders.
Cool. And then my final one is for Dan Doop. Dan Doop, not sure if this was asked already. I did join late, so apologies in advance. But how are you enjoying your partnership with Ruan? I mean, this season, I'm sure you can confirm as well, it's been a good season for yourself thus far.
Yeah, it was asked, but like I've said a couple of times, I get a lot of, I feed off him and his energy. He's a confidence player. He gives other people's confidence, and he's also, he runs a defense in a way. He's always talking about defense, and he's close with Norman Laker in the defense meetings and stuff. So as a leader as well, he leads really well on the field, and I learn a lot from him and also feed off of him and then get confidence from him. And I'm really enjoying playing next to him at the moment. And hopefully we can take it all the way to the final.
Awesome, Dan.
Cool.
All right, we're back with Stephen to end. Yes, Stephen.
Thanks very much, Mike. Dan, one thing that's very clear when one has been looking at Connacht now for a while, is it does look like a team with great character. And I think there's, in some ways, last season, not many people gave you guys a chance. And I think you were also a team with, with a great character and so on. So just from that character perspective, I mean, how, tough do you think that makes an opponent like Connacht this weekend?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I watched that game Friday night. Obviously, hoping for the better outcome for us. But immediately one of the first things I picked up from their team is they've got like that. What's the best way to put it? Like a dog fight in them. They fight for every ball, every ruck, and you can see that they're playing for each other on the field, and that obviously makes them quite a threat to us. But I mean, like you said, now we've got our own character, and we are a strong team as well. And yeah.
And Dan, there is now a bit of chatter about you potentially getting into the, people are starting to assess you in terms of international quality. You've had such a great season. Is that a goal that you've set yourself because now you've had so much bad luck with injuries, and now it looks like you're picking up steam and you're playing to getting closer to your potential. Have you set yourself any goals in terms of international rugby?
Yeah, no, I think since I've started playing rugby, it's always been the goal to get to a green and gold jersey. I think I hope for most of the players that are playing, that is their goal. But I mean, I can only do what I don't pick the squad, so I can only do what I do. I can only do what I do on a weekend, and prove my worth. So for me, my focus is on focusing on our team and contributing to our team, and what comes with that is not up to me.
Harvey, something that was very striking, in particular early in the game, was Herschel's tactical kicking. Herschel's been a guy that has probably come in for a little bit of criticism of late, but I mean, in a big game, he really stepped up. And that tactical kicking was quite striking of Herschel.
Yeah, like you said, I think Herschel was, he had a great game on Saturday. I think, like you said, his ability to find space, not just with his passing, is find spacing behind. I think it's something he's really been working hard on in reading those scenarios. Are we going forward, and do we have momentum, and actually understanding the backfield. I think that was great from his point of view. So, and then obviously that put the Bulls a little bit under pressure.
Thanks very much, guys. Good luck.
Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you on Wednesday. I'll send details about where and when it'll be in the week.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thanks, guys.